Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, February 27th, 2012. I'm Tim Bartos. This is my guest, Darren Barkman.
You got it.
I'm going to tell you more about Darren Barkman in just a few minutes. First of all, this is a live web chat. We are live at the CBS 6 studios on Balltown Road in Niskayuna, and we are here to take your questions. I am the host of 6 on Seniors, which is seen right here on CBS 6 each and every Monday during the noon news with Liz Bishop. And we talk about all kinds of different topics that relate to seniors, to caregivers, and as I like to say, everyone else in between. And today we talked about hearing loss and how the problems that it causes, how to cope with it, what options are there to deal with hearing loss, and Darren is an expert in that, and so we want to take your questions, or I should say he wants to take your questions, because he's going to be the one that will be able to answer them, and it won't be me. But we want to take your questions, so we're very happy that you've logged on, and if you know a friend or a family member that could benefit from this, let them know that we're live right now on the CBS 6 website. So to log on, it's simply go to the CBS 6 website. I believe it's cbs6albany.com. And tell them to log on. And there are 2 different ways that you can get questions to us. You can send them via email at chat, C-H-A-T, at wrgb.com. And I always like to say, what could be easier? Chat.
Yeah.
At wrgb.com,
Right.
Very easy, or you can send them through the CBS 6 Facebook page as well, if you are familiar with Facebook. So 2 ways, email or Facebook. But we're here to take your questions and anxious to hear from you. So please get interactive with us. Before I introduce Darren, those of you who log on regularly know that I always share a thought for the week. And my thought for this week is very simple. Shower your parents with patience and kind words. I like that.
I do too.
I like that very much.
As a father of 4, I certainly like that.
And you like that. There you go. That's right. And and it kind of ties into what we're talking about today, because maybe you need to be a little more patient because they may be a little hard of hearing.
Absolutely.
So need to keep that in mind.
That's
so
right.
Keep this one in mind if you're fortunate enough to have your parents still alive. Shower them with patience and kind words. All right. Darren, thank you so much for coming down today.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Really thrilled that you're here. Thank you very much, and it's great to have the opportunity to meet you. We haven't met before.
No, first time.
I'm very, very pleased.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
Let me tell everybody a little bit about you and your background.
Please do.
Darren Barkman is a board-certified hearing healthcare specialist for a company called Here for You.
Here for You.
That's right. You. Very clever name. I like that. And you've been in practice for about 10 years now.
I have. I'm in my 10th year.
10th year?
Yep.
Wow. And you see patients in the Rotterdam and the Cobleskill office, is that right?
Yeah, Here for You has a number of offices across the capital region, from Saratoga to Hudson to Troy to Amsterdam.
Okay.
And the 2 that I see patients in are in Rotterdam and Cobleskill.
In Cobleskill. Okay. So if you want to see Darren, you want to go to Rotterdam or Cobleskill.
That's right, absolutely.
But you can certainly make an appointment at any of the other offices.
Yep.
Right. And by the way, you don't have to write this down, and we really don't even need to share it, because the information, telephone numbers, and the company, what we will put on the CBS 6 Facebook page, and I believe the CBS 6 website as well.
Yep.
So if you're looking for that number, please go to the website, and you'll find everything that you need there. Darren has a bachelor's degree in speech communications from Plattsburgh State University. You also have a Master of Arts degree in biblical counseling and from Masters International School of Divinity in Evansville, Indiana.
That's right. Got that at the end of 2010.
Oh, very recently.
So that's very recently.
Okay. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
That. That's great.
Thank you.
And you've been widely praised for your down-to-earth and caring and friendly approach to fitting hearing aids. I know that that's not always the easiest thing for folks.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that in just a few minutes, right?
Yep.
But you obviously have got a lot of patience and a lot of attention to detail, which certainly pays off in situations like that.
Yes.
And I'm sure it's got to be very much appreciated by all the clients that you see.
Yeah, it's appreciated by the clients, and it's rewarding too. You know, I mean, we'll talk a little about quality of life issues, and when you see patients come in,
Yes.
can't communicate, like you were mentioning during the segment with Liz a few
Yes,
minutes ago,
yes.
can't communicate, feeling isolated, feeling just like they're out of the loop of
Sure,
life, and to
sure.
be able to get them back into it,
Sure.
just by helping them hear better. It's really,
Makes
it's an
a huge
amazing thing.
difference. Right. Wow. And you've also hosted your own radio program? Is that right?
In a prior life, yeah, we did
Okay.
that. Yep.
Oh, all right.
Yep.
So you got some experience in radio.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny. It's funny. The patients will typically say, you know, you've got a really great voice. You should do radio.
Is
It's like,
that
well,
right?
as a matter of fact,
Well, I
yeah.
did do radio. Yeah. Wow, that's great. Wow. And you enjoy writing, baseball, and spending time in the Adirondacks.
Yep.
Well, the Adirondacks are beautiful.
Yep.
Beautiful place.
Absolutely.
I can certainly understand
Yeah.
that. You also volunteer with Open Doors USA. That's a human rights organization working to support persecuted Christians
Yes.
in countries around the world, 50 or more countries around the world.
Yes.
Right? And you're going to be traveling very soon to Indonesia to provide support to needy churches there?
Yeah, Indonesia is a nation where, just like in a lot of countries around the world, there's a lot of Muslim extremism, and like in countries like Egypt and in other places around the world where there are splinter groups that attack churches and attack the Christian population. And Indonesia is one of the countries, maybe not as widely known, but there's 3% of a population of about 200 million people who are Christians. The churches are small and they need support.
Sure.
You know, they feel alone, and you know, kind of like with the hearing. You know, they feel alone and isolated.
Right.
And what I'm going to be doing is going and helping and providing some training and support for them.
I think that's wonderful. We wish you the very best with all that.
Well, thank you very much.
How soon will you be going?
That's the last 2 weeks of May.
Oh, very soon.
So
Very
yeah,
soon,
so if people want to come see me, not those 2 weeks.
Stay
It's a little bit of a commute to go to Indonesia to see me for the hearing test, but
right.
yeah,
Stay
that's
away from
fine.
those.
That's
2
right,
weeks.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And lastly, you've been married for a number of years. You have 3 daughters and a son.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yep.
3 daughters and a son.
14, 10, almost 9, and my boy is 3.5.
3.5. Wow, that's great. Well, again, very, very happy to have you here.
Thank you.
And why don't we get right into questions that people may be wondering about when it comes to hearing loss.
Sure.
And, you know, you mentioned what I said during the segment, and it got me thinking, you know, what I did say during the segment. And one of the things that I mentioned was that oftentimes people that can't hear feel that others are, that people that have difficulty hearing often feel that others are angry at them because people raise their voice simply because they can't hear.
Yeah.
And so there's not necessarily any anger there, but that's got to be very, very frustrating. So
Yeah, it's the sort of thing where, you know, the mother, the father, the grandmother, the grandfather has always been the glue, the anchor of the family.
Sure.
And all of a sudden, you see them start to separate from social events. They all of a sudden don't want to go to senior meetings. They don't want to go to church. They, you know, and it's one of those things where the kids start saying, you know, what's wrong with mom?
Right.
What's wrong with dad?
Right. They
And-
always went to church.
Yeah.
They always did this.
And
right?
they've always been the center at holidays and the family gatherings and everything, and now they don't want to come. They'd rather just stay home, and and it leads to a lot of depression and isolation, and you see the change in the person, in the personality, just because they can't communicate correctly.
Right, just because of that, exactly. So, and I think I mentioned that too, that the depression and what we were just speaking about, all those tie in together. Well.